Uh, all right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm having fun here with Carolyn this morning. I'm going to move this a little bit, the camera a little bit closer. We're having fun this morning because just because we can have fun and we like having fun. And so, good morning, everyone. I think I've said that already. I would like, before we begin, to say good morning to my spirit guide, Gregor, who is standing always, as always, to my right side. And to my further right, say good morning, Carolyn.
Good morning.
What? No, good morning, Carolyn. So, all right. So welcome everyone. And today our topic is, because we just celebrated Mother's Day just last week, our topic today is mothers in the spirit world. And for many of you, you might think, well, why didn't I do this before Mother's Day? Well, I didn't. So there we have it. And I didn't even think about it probably. But mothers in the spirit world, I mean, there are so many scenarios, and and there are so many. Karen is just so sweet. She just told me my hair's sticking up. Now, why don't you just say my hair's sticking? It won't lay down. Is that little? There it is. You see that little curl there? It is alive, as we say. All right. So it's so funny because the back of my hair also curls up. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's there. It curls at the back. There it goes. I have to stick it down a bit. There it goes again. See the curls, like my grandson, like my daughter. We do have curls, but we try to plaster them down. So, all right. So, can we get back to this now? Do I look all right now, Carolyn? Are you happy now with the fact that my hair is not sticking up? God forbid, I should look awful. All right. So, mothers in the spirit world. All right. So, there are many different scenarios. I mean, some of us have mothers who have had a good long life, and who we've known and we've had them for a long time, maybe even into our 40s, 50s, and some of us lucky enough to have our mothers into our 60s. I actually know someone who's almost 70 who still has her mother who is something like almost 90 or something like that. Anyway, so all right, so some of us are lucky to have them around, but at some point or another, the inevitable will happen. As we know, the inevitable is that we all die. I mean, that's the only inevitable in life that we can be sure of, that all of us die. All right, what about fathers? Some of you might be saying, and some of you who are fathers and listening, what about fathers in the spirit world? We'll do that another time. We're concentrating, because Father's Day is coming up at some point very soon. But right now, we're going to be dealing with our mothers in the spirit world. And this is very, very close thing for me. Very interesting and a very important subject for me personally. All right. So, but some of us are not fortunate enough. Some of us, and I'm thinking of one young man who lost his mother. Well, he doesn't even remember her because I think he was 2 or 3 years old. And he had a stepmother. Now, some stepmothers are wonderful and amazing and marvelous. Not all stepmothers are that awful. The horrible stepmother syndrome that Cinderella and all the rest of those people do. Was it Cinderella or whoever it was? Anyway, so some of us have wonderful stepmothers. The young man I'm particularly thinking of did not have a wonderful stepmother. In fact, he had a horrible and mean stepmother. But all right, so we have wonderful stepmothers. We have not so wonderful stepmothers, some of us. And, and some of us, our fathers don't marry again at all. So the only mother we have and the only mother that we've ever known is, for however brief a time, is that mother who passed when we were 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 or in our teen years or whenever that was that she passed. All right, so why are we having this conversation at all then? Why are we talking about mothers in the spirit world? I'm going to tell you a little bit of my personal feeling about this, because my one nervousness, let's say, as a mother myself, I had a trillion nervous moments, but one of the things that bothered me and niggled at the back of my head was that I knew that my daughter and I, we have such a close relationship, a very, very close, an unusual relationship, a lot of people will tell us. We talk at least 3 or 4 times, if not 5 or 6 times a day. And I talk to my grandson at least 2 or 3 times, if not 4 or 5 times a day. You know, we Skype, we FaceTime, we do all of those wonderful things. My concern before my daughter had her child, my biggest concern as a mother was, what is my daughter going to do when I'm not there? Because we know an accident or a heart attack or whatever it is, a brain tumor, whatever it is, a brain hemorrhage, just because I'm talking to you now and I'm fine doesn't mean in 5 minutes I'm going to be fine. That's how tenuous and that's how fragile we are as human beings. You know, you can live your life if you want, just assuming you're going to live forever, but that's not the truth. And I wondered and worried from time to time, what is my daughter going to do when she doesn't have me? Luckily, she had her son, and now I feel very much more comfortable about dying, and I know that when I'm gone, she won't be alone. And I think that most mothers, whether it's before they die or after they die, most mothers concern themselves with their children's well-being and their welfare. And the one thing I think most mothers want for their children is that they have someone who they love and who they can be loved by. Our children are the inevitable and the ultimate of that, certainly for me. So the fact that, you know, when it is my time and I pop my clogs, I don't want this to be a morbid thing today, but when I do pop my clogs, as they say in Yorkshire, which means, you know, I leave my shoes and go heavenward, you know how that is, up there, well, off we go. Okay, so when that does happen, I will be able to look back or look down or look at my child and be involved with my child and visit my child, and I'll be able to see what's going on with her, and I shall feel much more comfortable, because no matter what happens to her, no matter how many traumas she has to deal with in her life, and there will be inevitably some, if not many, I hope not too many, but you know, she will have that, because this is all part of the learning process for us all. At least as a mother, I'll be able to look and see that, you know, no matter what, she has her darling boy. And no matter what, and no matter how many times they fight or scream at each other when he's older and a teenager and he doesn't like what she has to say, or vice versa, no matter how much that goes on, because that does go on inevitably with most of us, because as parents, we're trying to educate our children. And as children, of course, we have, if we're good mothers, we have taught our children to be independent, to want to be independent, and so on. So, you know, being independent, they're going to fight us. That's what we want. We don't like it when it happens, but that's what we want ultimately for them, to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, to be able to make their own decisions, whether we approve or not. So no matter how many arguments, upsets and stuff that goes on with my darling boy and my darling girl, I, from my place, sitting on a cloud or wherever else I happen to be, looking at them and listening to them, because I will be able to hear them and I will be able to see them from that spot, from that place. I'll know that even if they're screaming at each other or hugging each other, whatever it is they're doing, they're not alone. They have each other. And as unsure as they might be that others may or may not love them, they will have that certainty, because I gave that certainty to my daughter, and my daughter gives that certainty to her son, as do I. We teach him and we show him that no matter what, he will not believe it, he will not understand it, he will not think it's possible. He will absolutely know. There will be no doubt in his mind. He will absolutely know that he was well loved, that he was well loved by his mama, that he was well loved by his Mosey and the Mosey. So his mama and his Mosey, absolutely, he will have that knowledge in his mind. And that's a very important thing for mothers in the spirit world. And those mothers who unfortunately don't have that knowledge, and or perhaps didn't know how to give that knowledge to the children, or neglected to give that knowledge to their children, you know, when they're in the spirit world, they'll be able to see, they'll be able to know, they'll be able to understand that maybe they should have done things a little bit differently, or maybe somehow, how can they get a message to this child? How can they get a message to their children that no matter what, they were well loved? Part of that is my job, but part of that, as mothers ourselves, and all of you listening, as mothers yourselves, part of our job is to give that absolute knowledge to our children and to our grandchildren that they are well loved. Now let's look at it from the reverse. All of those of you who have mothers who you love, who you care for, and they're not there anymore, where no matter how old you were when they passed, the bottom line is you don't have your mummy anymore. You don't have that wonderful person who birthed you, or maybe even that not so wonderful person who birthed you, but she's not there. That mother is not there anymore. I had a consultation with a lady a couple of weeks ago, and it was, she wanted me to connect with her mother, and she didn't know quite what she wanted her mother to say or do, but she just wanted to know that her mother was okay. So at one point, the mother said to her, you know, or said to me, it's our anniversary coming up. So I said to this girl, do you understand your mother talking about an anniversary? She wants you to have a party, and she wants to celebrate because she will be there. She will be there in the house, whether it's a small celebration just for the family or whether it's a bigger celebration. She doesn't mind what you do. But when you have this celebration and you celebrate the 50 years that she and your father were married and together, she wants you all to know that it's not just you and your dad, it's you and your dad and your mum who are celebrating. She wants you to celebrate that day so that she can celebrate it with you. I mean, that's, you know, something. I always tell people, you know, often when they lose someone close to them, and especially their mum, and they're not sure about Christmas, and perhaps their mother died just before Christmas, and it's amazing how many mothers come to me and say, would you ask my daughter or my son to put a silver star on the Christmas tree, so that when they look at that silver star on the Christmas tree, they'll know that I'm in the room with them and I'm sharing Christmas with them. Christmas is a family time and I'm still there. Maybe I can't make the Christmas cake anymore. Maybe I can't do the mince pies. Maybe I can't cook the ham or the turkey or whatever it is they used to do when they were here living in this world. But the most important thing that a mother does, as we know, is a mother is there. That's the most important thing. My daughter and my grandson will definitely remember my Christmas cakes and my cookies, and I'm actually making some shortbread cookies this afternoon for my grandson, and I'm making some almond tarts for my daughter because, yay, they're coming today. I'm picking them up at the airport later on today because I forgot to say this, it's my birthday. Not today, but it's my birthday on Friday. What about all those mothers in the spirit world who have a birthday? Are you going to celebrate their birthday with them? I know a lot of people on someone's birthday or anniversary, or the anniversary of their passing, you'll take flowers to the graveside. Don't do that. Take them, put them in a vase by your mum's photo, or by, you know, in the living room so everyone can share them, including your mother, who will be there on that day with you. Celebrate the birthdays, celebrate the anniversaries, because those in the spirit world, and your mums particularly, because they are so close to you, they birthed you after all. You know, they birthed you, they fed you, they did all of those things good mothers do, and even not so good mothers will often do. And they need you. They need you to remember them on those special times. And so don't feel badly if you know, invite your friends, invite your family to a birthday party. And if they say whose birthday it is, you say it's Mum's birthday. We're having a party and she'll be there. Or it's an anniversary, or whatever special occasion. Or very often, if it's not a special occasion, but you just want her to be there, Make her a special cake. Make her favorite dinner. Make something for her, or do something for her that you know she liked to do. And then do it. Do it with her. Know that she's with you. Know that she walks with you, because that's what our mothers in the spirit world want us to do. And I really shouldn't say our mothers. And I know this question is coming from at least one of you today. Well, what about your mother, Rosemary? Because we all know that I didn't have, such a great mother. And I do know, and I appreciate people are going to ask me about that too. So here's what we're going to do. Carolyn's looking at me. And you say, am I right?
Yes, you are.
I'm right, aren't I? Someone's asking that horrible question. Right, then go ahead then. All right. Well, before you ask that question, do we have any other questions? Because I know we've had emails. I know we have people online wanting to chat. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute at least, and Carolyn, let's have some questions, shall we?
All right. First, Jillian says, happy early birthday.
Thank you, Jillian.
She had a neck procedure done on Monday, but she's feeling
okay
better
though,
now.
right? You're good.
Yeah.
Good.
And Dean's here, Peggy's here, Nate's here, your friend Karen, all saying hello.
Is Karen from Canada?
Yes.
Hi, Karen from Canada.
Okay.
It's my birthday on Friday. And guess who I've got coming to spend my birthday with me? I'm so excited. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Dean's question is, my dear mother passed away about 4 years ago. A medium was talking with my sister and told her that my spirit had gone with my mother when she passed, like Rosemary did with some of her patients.
Oh, you mean... Oh, sorry. Right. I thought you meant you'd lost it. It was still there. Okay,
he says, how do I know this is right?
It isn't, Dean.
I was so blessed to have the best mother in the
world. At least, Dean, I can be honest with you, and you're not going to take offense. You didn't. It didn't happen. It wasn't there. But maybe what the medium meant was that a part of you left with your mom, and a part of you is probably still with her. Hold on a minute, Dean, because I've got Gregor. This is not expected. I've got Gregor tapping me on the shoulder, and I actually am glimpsing a lady who tells me she's your mother. Now, you know me well enough, and we've done this all before, so I don't have to, convince you of this or anything like that. So has it suddenly gone very dark in here? Because there's no light in this living room at all. Did you know
clouds just came over.
Okay then. So, all right. So I just glimpsed a lady, Dean, who I think is your mum, who is waving at you and says thanks for thinking of her on Mother's Day. And thank you for that. We've got light. We're in the light. I do feel that the part of you is still with your mother, but I think your mother is still with you too. So I think there's, maybe that's what the medium went. Did you travel with your mother to the spirit world? No, because if you had, you'd have remembered it. So, so I can say that to you and be absolutely certain that that didn't happen, darling. But she is with you and wants to say hello and loves you. And it's somebody else's birthday as well. So I don't know, she's talking about a birthday that she wants celebrating. So there you have it, Dean. Next question.
All right. Maggie asks.
Hello, Maggie.
If a mother and child are in the spirit world, does the parent-child union still go on, or does it grow as the spirit grows?
Could you repeat it?
If a mother and child are in the spirit world, does the parent-child...
Together. If the mother has died, are we talking about a child, or are we talking about an adult child? Well, it doesn't matter, but that's okay. When a mother and her child are both in the spirit world together, yeah.
Does the union still go on, or does it grow as the spirit grows?
The union continues because you are part of each other. You shared an energy. You had this energy. Your mother's energy infused you and molded your life. Even if she died in childbirth, she's still a part of you and you are part of her. So, whatever the relationship and however brief or long that relationship was prior to her passing and the child's passing, you're always going to be connected. Will you grow if you choose to grow in the spirit world? Yes, you will. If you choose to have that union in the spirit world and to grow together in the universe, you notice I say to choose, then yes, you will, because at a certain point we have choices, so just like we have choices here. If you choose to continue and have a fabulous relationship with your mother and so on when you're here on this earth, that's great, and it will happen. If you choose not to for whatever reason, and I'm one of those people, but if you choose not to have that relationship with your mother, let's put it this way. I chose not to have that relationship with my mother for a variety of reasons. I chose, when my mother was still here and still on this earth, I chose at some point 5 years before she passed, to be precise, to not have that relationship anymore, to say, okay, no, this is enough. That was my choice. All right. Now, I like to think it was partly my mother's choice as well, because I did give her the opportunity to, to sit down and talk and to sort things out. She chose not to take that opportunity, so I made my choice. Okay. Let's say now I die and there I am, I'm in heaven. Now I've got another choice facing me. So has my mother. My mother may choose to not be there to greet me. My mother may choose to not have anything to do with me for whatever reason she feels is right for her. That's fine. It's because they're her reasons and they're her choices. Likewise, I may choose to not acknowledge her or to not have anything to do with her or whatever. It's all about choices. When we get to that point of we move into the spirit world, it is about choices. So let's have our next question then.
Well, I have to tell you that Dean is saying it's his birthday. His birthday was May 13th.
Oh, yay.
Just a few days ago, and he was born on Mother's Day. What a fantastic message.
This is why your mother must have come through, Dean, to talk to you. How nice is that? How neat is that? You should have a great day today now. Oh, how lovely. And no wonder Greg was tapping me on the shoulder, because it was important. Your mother must have thought, well, he's here every week listening to this chat, so this week I'm going to dive in and say something. And thank you to your mum for doing that for us, for me, and for you especially. That's wonderful. Great. All right then. Yeah. Next question.
Amanda asks.
Hello, Amanda.
Do our mothers in the spirit world help us with everyday life?
If they choose to. They can help us and they can interfere. I can tell you this, Amanda, I can say for sure, when it's my turn, oh boy, I'm going to be such an interfering. I mean, I try actually at the moment not to interfere. I'm pretty good at it, really. There are times when I really want to say something and I keep my mouth shut, but I can't speak for the same restraint. Once I get into the spirit world, I might not have that restraint anymore at all. I might choose to just interfere in any way I possibly can, because I love my daughter and I love my grandson deeply, deeply, deeply. I love them both. My daughter thinks that she's now chopped liver because it's all about my 4-year-old grandson, but it really isn't. It's about my daughter and my grandson. So I'm pretty sure that I'll choose to pop through, because I choose to do that now. I can't go a day without talking to them. Not at all. Not at all. So I will pretty much choose probably to do that. But there are other people who choose, we're going to let them get on with it themselves. We're going to let them, maybe sometimes we need to leave. Maybe sometimes mothers should butt out. We should back off. I'm not good at that. I'm an earth sign. What can I tell you? I'm just not good at it. But, it's a choice. Again, darling, it's a choice that we all make. Next question.
Well, now we've got the Rosemary.
Oh.
Have you encountered your mother in the spirit world?
No.
And has your relationship changed for the better?
Have I encountered my mother since you've been in the spirit world? No. And what was the second bit? That's 2 questions.
Has your relationship changed for the better?
No. Here's the thing. I mean, Carolyn was saying to me this morning that some people might really benefit from being able to cut their mothers off. She's not saying she would benefit. she's saying that some people perhaps would really love it if they were able to do what I did, because they would then be free of the angst and the upset and the anger and all of that stuff that very often goes along in mother-daughter relationships. But for me, it wasn't such a big deal because my mother and I really never had a relationship other than one of angst. The relationship that my mother and I had was one where, you know, I was always trying to, you know, I mean, when I was 15, I was working. Even when I was 14, I had a paper round. I was always buying her a little something on a Friday to give to her, a little gift of, didn't matter what it was, a plastic rose, a tongues for the wash tub. I mean, silly things. There were silly things, but they were, I like to think, thoughtful things. I was always trying to find ways and means to get my mother to love me because I knew she didn't. Now, you may think, you know, a child thinks their mother doesn't love them, but, you know, but they do really. And I can remember when I was in my 20s, my mother actually saying to me one day, I do love you, you know. That was probably the only time she ever told me, I do love you, you know. And I didn't say anything because I actually grew up knowing the opposite. And when I say that, I'm not saying it lightly or flippantly, and I'm certainly not saying with any bitterness or anger. What a person feels for you, sooner or later, will come out. They will show it one way or another in the small things, in the little things. I know absolutely that my mother loved my youngest sister. My youngest sister knows absolutely that my mother loved her. I'm not sure about my other two sisters. I know absolutely that my mother loved my younger brother, who is much older than I am, but still he's the youngest of my two brothers. And I know absolutely that my mother loved him. Without a doubt, she loved him. So she wasn't incapable of loving. But I also know that she, as a mother, felt that she should love me, but simply didn't. I think there were too many things in the way. I think I was too much like perhaps her mother. I was too much, I mean, I was weird as a child. I mean, you know, I was weird. I saw things, I was weird. And that was like, you know, very much like her mother. And she was, you know, frightened of that aspect of things. So I think as a mother, she may have, I don't know if she ever felt guilt, but she may have felt that she should love me. And she may have felt it necessary to say to me that one time that she loved me. But deeds and actions really show us what someone feels about us. So I, without any angst or anger of any kind, I can really say that my mother, I really don't believe that my mother did love me. And that was a shame for her. And it was a shame for me. It was a great shame for me. Having said that, I can say it was a great shame for me because I grew up without a mother's love. Absolutely. But boy, did it ever teach me. It taught me how important it was to love. It taught me how important it was to show, to be able to show on a daily basis how much you love your child. Aside from the fact that from the moment of conception, from the moment I knew that this child was within me, there was this overwhelming, completely overwhelming love I had for this child. Now, I'd had 3 miscarriages before I had to remember. So just knowing there's a child in my tummy and just wanting that to be, there was this overwhelming love. Now, there are other mothers who don't ever feel that. I mean, my mother had 4 kids before she had me. I mean, probably the joy had gone out of it by that time. You know, probably she was, you know, she and my father didn't have a great relationship. Who knows why? But there are mothers out there who don't feel that same joy and don't have that same feeling. That doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means, you know, that they're just different and they react differently to things. I don't have any anger towards my mother at all. In fact, I'm so grateful to both of my parents because they both taught me, and they really did teach me how not to be. And I say that, and you may think, some of you may think, oh yeah, but somewhere inside of her, I bet she's hurting. I bet somewhere inside, I bet she hurts. No, not anymore. When I was a child, yes. Growing up, yes. When I was in my 20s and 30s, without a doubt, even into my 40s, occasionally there would be things said or done that would be hurtful. But I can truly say that, you know, understanding and knowing where somebody comes from, and I look at my mother's life, and I look at her life with her parents and well, her mother and stepfather, and I look at all of that stuff. Who am I to judge? Who am I to, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know why she was the way she was. I'm grateful that my younger sister had a mother who loved her. I'm very grateful for that. Same mother, different child. I'm grateful that my mother didn't love me, because I benefited hugely from knowing how important love is. When you don't have a thing, you know, when you don't have something, I think you perhaps value it more. So here I am, and very happy, and have, you know, and I have no desire now or in the future to make contact with my mother. My only desire for her is, I do hope from the bottom of my heart that she finally did find peace, and she finally did find contentment, and she finally did find the happiness that I think we all deserve. And so I'm doing this mother thing, and I knew it would come up, but I'm a good mum. Actually, I'm an amazing mother in so many ways. My daughter will tell me I'm amazing too, which is really nice. And I'm an even more amazing grandmother. Can I tell you? I'm more amazing because I don't have to discipline him like I had to discipline my child. So I can indulge in him and all the rest of it. So, but you know, I know how to be a mother, and I'm very grateful for that. And I thank my mother for showing me how not to be. Wow. It's getting a bit deep. Do we have any other questions?
We have two really good questions.
What's going
right
on
along
here?
with this.
All right, then go ahead then.
Eric asks, why are some mothers
mothers okay, oops.
Not meant to be mothers and yet have children? What would be the soul's purpose for this?
Again, it's about choices, and it's also about inevitabilities, and you know, some mothers aren't good. Some women, right, just are not good at being mothers. They're just not. It's not their fault. It's not something that they did or didn't do or should or shouldn't have done. They're just not good at it at all. I'm sort of playing about with the camera a bit there. There you go. Some just, you know, and they're just not good at it. And so what is the purpose? Well, you know, my mother's purpose, part of my mother's purpose, I can only assume this, but part of my mother's purpose seems to me that she was able to give love to those of her children who needed that. She was not able to give love to me because I needed that. This was my purpose, to learn, to grow. And the best way for me to learn and to grow and to understand was perhaps to be denied certain things, you know. I mean, you know, when we have our children and we're trying to teach them various different things, I denied my child TV time. You know, that was her punishment, right? No TV for a week or whatever if she was naughty, which didn't happen very often, but still, you know, there are consequences to things. So, you know, denying somebody something often makes them value it, and makes them value it more than they would normally do if they were given an abundance of it. So, you know, we shouldn't hold too many expectations, and we certainly shouldn't judge. I know we do because we're human, but if we look at our mother as simply another human being as opposed to our mother, we can look at that person in a much more unbiased way, and we can say, well, you know, I mean, I look at my mother. She had a stepfather. She and my grandmother used to go out. My grandmother was weird. I mean, she saw people. She heard voices. She was really weird. She put herself into the local towers, the local psychiatric hospital from time to time, so that they would, you know, fix her. she'd come out fixed, and then all of a sudden she'd have to go back in again because she needed fixing again. I mean, you know, they didn't understand in those days. Can you imagine that my mother had to live with that? My mother had to live with this mother who really did believe she was crazy, and everybody did. So who am I to judge why my mother looks at me? She looks at me and she sees her mother. I mean, I don't know, she despises her mother. She never talked nicely of her ever. I know she absolutely despised her stepfather. She was born out of wedlock. Who knows what that did to them in those days? There are a trillion reasons why people behave the way they do. The only thing that you should be concerned of, I should be concerned of, is not why they are the way they are. Well, not why they behave the way they behave. The only thing that we really should be concerned of is our own behavior, whether we can be more loving, more lenient, less judgmental, all those things.
Karen.
Hello, Karen.
That's a great question.
You're going to say happy birthday? No, you're going to call me on the day, aren't you? Go ahead, darling. Yeah.
If a mother didn't love in this life, can she as an angel learn to love better, or learn from her mistakes and love, or be there and love as an angel?
Well, not, you don't mean an angel, do you? I mean, because we don't die and go to heaven and become angels. We know that, right? But can mothers learn to love? Can any of us learn to love? Can a father who didn't love, can he learn to love once he's in the spirit world? Without a doubt, we can learn to love. Again, it's about choices. And just to clarify this, because I think I know where this question's coming from, just because a mother doesn't love one child does not mean that she's incapable of loving. I can tell you that my mother loved my youngest sister. Without a doubt, she loved her. Without a doubt. She loved her in a way that I, growing up, truly envied. Just because a mother doesn't love, or a father doesn't love one child, doesn't mean that they're incapable of loving. And when we go to the spirit world, we can all see. We all have a choice. We all are able to see those, those things that we wish we'd done differently. Some people love inside of themselves and never express it, cannot express it. For whatever reason, they just simply cannot say the words, I love you. They see it as a weakness, or it just sticks in the throat and it won't go any further. Unfortunately, those people, when they go to the spirit world, those mothers, when they go to the spirit world, they see, that can damage a child tremendously. To not ever having heard a mother or a father say to that child, I love you, can be very damaging, very damaging. As I say, my mother said it to me once, I do love you, you know, sort of, maybe, possibly. She didn't say all the X bits, but she felt she had to say it because she felt she was, in her very limited way, she was trying to put something right that by this time was not, we weren't able to put it right. But no big deal. Next question.
It's not really a question.
Oh,
Jillian.
Okay, Jillian. Hello, Jillian again.
My stepmom passed away a few years ago, and my stepsister misses her so much. Could you tell her something? She's in great emotional pain.
The stepsister.
Yes, because she lost her mom.
So the stepsister is the daughter, is the biological daughter, right? Yes. Of this mother. Well, yes, I can say without a doubt. Look, if a child loves a mother this much, then that love was always reciprocated, and that love was always shown. If somebody loves someone else so much and so deeply, you can't have that deep and abiding love if it wasn't given to you in the first place. And if it was given to you, Jillian, I'm pretty sure that it was given to your stepsister, from what you told me, then your stepsister needs to know that, the best way to bring a mother close, and the best way is what we're talking about. On Mother's Day, do something wonderful for your mother, even though she's in the spirit world. Do something wonderful and share the day. with her. I met a lovely lady in a garden centre the other day. It was actually the day before Mother's Day, and I was looking for plants, and she happened to hear me talking to a friend of mine. She came over, she said, "Excuse me, can you help me? You seem to know what you're doing." Well, I am a gardener, but don't know everything about gardening, and certainly not gardening in Florida, because I'm an English gardener. But she asked me questions of this and that, and I was able to help her somewhat. And then she said to me, she said, I'm doing this I'm planting these things for my mother. Her favorite flower was whatever it was, and I'm going to put them in pots for her tomorrow, which that was the Mother's Day, the next day. And I just smiled at her, and I said, that was a great thing. And I said, and please remember, of course she didn't know me, she didn't know who I was or what I did. I said to her, please remember, I think your mother's going to be standing right next to you. She's probably going to be trying to tell you how to plant these things because you don't know. So just listen to your instincts, and just be aware that your mother's there, and I'm pretty sure she's going to help you plant them. And she said thank you to me, and she went away very very nice, thanked me for her help. She still has no idea who I am or what I do. One day she may find out, or not, it doesn't matter. But what a wonderful thing she did. So, share the days. Have a day with your mother, one day a week with your mother. Have a birthday, or share an anniversary, or just when you go shopping, do what I do with Greg, or when you go shopping, what do you think to this? What about that colour? Do you think if I wait a bit, this will come along? Or do you think if I wait for the sales, that'll still be there? These are my conversations with Grey Eagle. So, so just remember, have a conversation with them. The best thing to do is, listen too. You've got to listen. And if you listen carefully, and I hope your sister listens carefully, if you listen carefully, if she listens carefully, she'll hear her mum, or she'll feel a tap her on the shoulder. She'll know. But try and include her in your life, because that's what we want. When we pass to the spirit world, we're still very much involved in our loved ones' lives. We want to be included in their lives. So try to do that. Okay, next.
We just have one last question.
Last question. Is that it then? Is time up already?
No, it's 11:45. We got a few more minutes.
You better, all of you better get your questions in then. Come on. Otherwise, I'm going to finish this early. Oh, that would be awful, right? Let's go.
This is kind of a funny question, and it's not about the spirit world, but it's about living mothers.
Okay. Oh, living mother. You mean mothers who are still on this earth plane?
Yes.
You didn't really mean say living mothers,
No.
did you? Because we're all living wherever we are, right? So go ahead.
Suzanne asks, how do you kindly ask your living mother to butt out of your personal life?
Oh, I bet you've asked her kindly lots of times. Whose question is it?
Suzanne.
Susan? That's funny. Well, if your mother's like me, and Samantha never asks me kindly, actually. She'll say, Mother. She'll be like, Mother. And I know I've gone too far, or I'm treading on her toes or something. The best way to do this with your mother is just maybe take her out for lunch or something, or make her a nice sandwich and sit down with her, pour a glass of wine. That would be in my case, it would be a vodka tonic. Pour me a vodka tonic or a margarita, and sit down with me and just say, and Samantha has done this to me as well, aside from the mother thing, just tell her, Mom, I need to talk to you. Here's the thing. I love you dearly. I want you in my life, but you've got to stop interfering. And before you say stop interfering, you say, I love you dearly, but I want to say something that may or may not hurt you, and I don't want you to be offended by it, so hear me out, because I love you. Remember, I love you, but out. You're interfering in my life, and I'm not appreciating it. You've gone overboard. Or the other way to do it is, if you want the coward's way out, or a good way out, this is what I would do. I'd let her watch this. That's what I would do, Suzanne and Suzanne's mom. Because, she probably has no idea, Suzanne, that she's really gone too far. She's doing it because she loves you. I'm sure of that. But still, you know, we need to know when to butt out. We do. And if you have a good relationship with your mother, and if you give her lots of hugs and kisses, and another margarita when you're done, or another vodka tonic, or whatever it is, a glass of wine, whatever it is, or even a box of dark chocolate cherries, liquid cherries. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. I hope somebody's going to buy me those for my birthday. Anyway, if you know, you sit down and you tell her nicely, then all will be well. And if she doesn't get it, then you just gently remind her, remember that conversation we had? Or remember that YouTube video I showed you? You know, Mom, you need to butt out. Another way to do this is to tell somebody, if you've got a problem with anybody at all, you tell them, especially your spouse or your parents or what have you, you have a word, you choose between you a word. And when you use that word, the other person has to stop talking and not say what they're saying. So basically, if you, between the two of you, say, look, when you say this, you offend me. So if I say the word red, you'll know to stop and that you're offending me. You just say red. That person has to be respectful and to stop saying what they're saying because they heard the word red. It can be yellow, it can be green, it can be any word you try and pick a nice word. It can be any word that you choose. Red is a good word because red means danger. Red means stop. You know, you go to a traffic light, red is a stop. So, you know, if somebody's saying something or doing something, like your mother is interfering with you and you say to her, Mom, red, and you say it nicely, if you talk about it before to her and you come up with that, you say to her, when I say red, but really remember, she has the right to say it back to you when you're interfering or you're being a pain in the butt, as all our children are from time to time, because remember, your mother's not perfect, but neither are you. So have a code word, use a code word. That's another way out of it too. Do we have anything else going on here, my little Carolyn? I'm going to talk to you while she's on the computer, and I don't know what you're doing. You're looking at things, reading things. What's the big grin on her face?
I'm trying to decide it.
Right, I'm going to, you can decide, and we'll come back to that in 1 second, because I'm very excited. Of course, you can see that in my face. My daughter and my grandson are coming today. We've gone from, it's 5 days, Mosey. Mosey, it's 4 days. Mosey, it's 3 days. Last night, one more day, Mosey, one more day. I was so excited. So I'm picking them up at the airport tonight, and we're only having a short time together. My birthday is Friday. We're going to do absolutely nothing. We're not including anybody else. There's nobody else invited. And I have, is there? What are you laughing at?
No.
Oh, well, there's nobody I think is invited. Nobody's allowed to step over the threshold except my daughter, my grandson, and I, because we rarely get these times when we're just the three of us together. The menu is, because she's already asked for this, rack of lamb. I'm making enough so that we can take some cold to the beach and have it cold for lunch on the beach, as well as hot for dinner the night before. We're having duck à l'orange, which is duck with orange sauce, which is absolutely delicious. Roast duck. I've got that ready. Oh, not quite ready, but nearly ready. And then she wants lobster. So that's going to, see, I'm going to be cooking. Right? This afternoon I'm making almond tarts for my darling daughter, and I'm making chocolate covered shortbreads for my darling grandson, and that's it really. And what else is there now before we finish? So I'm going to have a great birthday, and I'm going to have a great weekend birthday. So what now? Thank you. Yes, we have it. Can you see all the sticky notes though? Look, this is the new version of the Soul Signs, and it's a workbook. In here we've got some blank pages with notes and lines. So when you're going through it, because it is a workbook, Carolyn wants me to say it's also a coffee table.
Coffee table.
This is a coffee table book. So you lay it on your coffee table because it's so nice. It's nice and bright and vibrant. You lay it on your coffee table, and people come in and say, "Oh, what's this?"
It evokes conversation.
So it evokes conversation. It gets people talking. It is a great talking point, so you can share it with others. We are on the final. This is it, and it came with 1 trillion mistakes from the publisher. We are sorting the mistakes, dealing with the mistakes, and at that point, once our mistakes are done, which will be next week, keep saying this, maybe we'll have it, but we're certainly going to have it by the end of this month.
End of next week.
End of next week?
Yeah.
End of next week, says Carolyn. I think she's right. We are taking orders now. So if you want to email us, rosemary@rosemaryantaltea.com, put in your order for this. I think it's $15 or $17, something like that. So around there. Anywhere between $15 and $20, I think it is, something like that. Anyway, worth every single cent. Penny.
I just wanted to add one thing.
Yes?
Put this on your coffee table. Get your grown kids around, or your younger kids. Tell them to put their cell phones down.
Oh, there you are.
And everybody figure out
who they are.
Right.
Once you start in. Or, better still, this is me, you can get your girlfriends around or your friends around. You can get out the wine. You can get out the cheese. You can get out all of that, and you can start. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic talking point, and everybody wants to know who they are, you see, because we're all, you know, when it comes to it, we're all selfish. We want to know about ourselves and then about our loved ones and so on. So this is a great talking point. Okay, aside from that, which I did want to show you today, because I know it's like a mythical thing, really. We've been talking about it for so long, but it really is not a mythical thing. We were a bit disappointed when it came from the publisher because there were so many mistakes, some of the publishers and some ours. I have to tell you that Carolyn gets the biscuit. Do you know what getting the biscuit means? Getting the biscuit means she gets the prize because, boy, she ever worked hard on this. And I would not have been able to do it without her. So she gets all the accolades for this book. Although, as a friend pointed out to me the other day when I was saying this, about how wonderful Carolyn was, she said, yes, but Rosemary, hold on a minute, you wrote it. So I take some credit. Gregor takes a huge amount of credit, much more than I. I am simply the conduit between Gregor and Carolyn of getting this book sorted out. All right. So,
one more
thing.
What mom wouldn't want the gift of explaining to her children or having her children find out who they are and why they all relate to each other?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And mums out there and dads out there as well, because we know dads are lovely too, or can be lovely too. All right. So if you want to know why your child is behaving in a certain way, why one child is a perfectly behaved child and the other child is that crazy person or that emotional person or the person who screams and rages for seemingly no reason, this, I promise you, this is a promise I'm making. This will help you discover your behavior, why you behave the way you do, why your children behave the way they do, why your brothers, your sisters, all of that. They'll help you, it'll help explain things in the workplace and so on and so forth. And I'm done now selling the book. But yes, Carolyn is very enamored of this book. So enamored of this book, she calls it her most favorites. Is that right?
Yes.
And
tell them I was at a softball tournament this weekend.
She says, Carolyn was at a softball tournament. Oh, we out of time or something already. Are we chattering away here? Carolyn was at a softball tournament this week and shared it with all of her softball mummies and daddies and all of that, right?
Yes, I was saying, you know, I think your daughter is a fire sign. That's why she's so emotional all the time. You know, just from knowing this girl.
Went on to further explain it. And now everybody's so much happier because now they know why this kid is a crazy person. So,
I could almost see a sigh of relief in that mom.
Yeah, knowing that it's a behavior that she simply, that the child simply can't help. All right, we are out of time, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Anything else?
Just wanted to let you know real quick, Jillian and Dean are fighting over you. They said they'd like to be your child. Their mouths are watering. And they're saying, who can get to Florida fastest? Well, Jillian won because she lives in Florida. So.
Oh, come on over. Come on over, Jillian. Come on over. You can share.
She says she can't cook unless a home chef helps her.
Last week was chocolate cake, and I did cook with Peggy. We made a chocolate cake. I'm not sure Peggy can do it because Peggy's issue is she can't get stuff out of the pan. And I can't go there. I can't even think that way. Anyway, but yes, I'm going to be cooking up a storm. I'm going to be on the beach, in the pool with my daughter, my grandson. In the meantime, I do hope that all of you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, because I know I'm going to do. If you need us, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Find us on Facebook and on Twitter. And please, 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 please have a very, very blessed day.